Good morning. It's Sunday, December 9th, and I have ranted before several times about the stupidity associated with the COVID relief bill, and the methodology used to distribute the funds. And I have complained because many of my compatriots have received money when we did not need it, and it did not affect our lives at all. We are not working, we are retired, we have IRAs and pensions, etc. So there are very few of us that needed any portion of this money, and the government should have recognized that fact early on before distributing this money. But I don't want to talk about that now. I want to talk about Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. Do you remember that name? He and his brother were the Boston Marathon bombers, and they killed a number of people. And I don't know, I think the number was something like 17 people were left without a limb. It was a disaster. It took them 3 days for the police to capture these two guys. And they did capture them. And they killed his brother. And he is sentenced, of course, to life in prison. But you know what happened? He has an inmate trust fund. He has something like $21,000 in this inmate trust fund. $11,000 of which was contributed by the New York State Defenders of Liberty or something. I don't know why they would be giving him $11,000. But he also got $1,400 from the COVID relief fund. And now a judge in Massachusetts has said that he must distribute that money to the victims of his crime. He's supposed to distribute $101 million to the victims of his crime. Of course, he doesn't have that much money. But he does have $21,000 in his inmate trust fund. And that's the kind of money that he got from the New York State Defenders, and also the $1,400 that was given to him from the COVID relief fund. Now, why? Why should a man in prison, especially this man in prison, get any money from the COVID relief fund? And I suspect that if he's getting money from the COVID relief fund, so are other prisoners getting money from the COVID relief fund. And that money that's in their relief fund, in their trust fund, in the prisoner trust fund, right? That's for them to buy cigarettes and things like that. I think they should be paying for their meals out of that. I don't think they should be getting cigarettes and things like that from it. And they certainly should be paying off whatever they were told to pay off at trial. So Tsarnaev takes that money and he buys gifts for his sisters and brothers and other members of his family. But he's not giving anything to the victims of his crime. Now, of course, he owes $101 million. He's never going to be able to pay that off. But it's ridiculous. It just shows you how poorly we think about the things that we are doing in this country. That we would give $1,400 to Tsarnaev. And we probably gave that money to other prisoners. And I'm not against their families getting that money, but I certainly am against the prisoners getting it. You know, Tsarnaev was convicted of about 30 different charges. And he was supposed to pay money to the victims. So far he's only contributed $2,200 of his trust fund to the sentence associated with his trial. And that $2,200 did not go to the victims. It went toward a $3,000 fee that was tacked on at the end for clerical services or something. So he's sitting with $22,000, which, let's face it, $22,000 is bupkis when you owe $101 million. But that money should be distributed. So they had to go to court to get a judge to release the money from the $22,000 that he has in his trust account. That ridiculous? He's sentenced. He's supposed to give that money. Why wasn't this thing set up immediate? Why wasn't every penny that came into the trust fund go right to the victims? And it's ridiculous that the New York Defenders are sending him $11,000 For what? What did he do to deserve anything less than the death penalty? So we're keeping a guy alive. We've got him sitting in his prison cell, smoking, playing with his iPhone or whatever he has, taking pictures of himself, probably sending them to his relatives. Right? What's going on? Is this not a monumental screw-up? Of course. And it's just a portion of the screw-up that was associated with the monies that was sent out in the relief fund. So far, the only money that he's really given out has been to his family. He's given out a couple of $1,000s to his family for gifts and books and other non-essential items, I would think, but nothing to the victims, as he was supposed to. So he should be stripped down. This man should be penniless. He should be in prison and penniless. He should not be smoking cigarettes and playing with an iPhone. It just shows you how inept we are on the details. Globally, we think big, but when you think big, you have to understand plan. There has to be a plan. And globally, we think big. But it's in the detail that things work the best. So how can he not be paying what he's supposed to be paying to the victims of the crime? And there's just too many victims to talk about it. I mean, there's hundreds of people were injured. So there's too many victims to even talk about in this crime. But this just shows you how badly this country is being run. We can't plan anything that gets done properly. So when I think about this, I worry. I worry about the $3.7 trillion plans and how much of that money is going to be spent efficiently and effectively. Will we be able to maintain the budget on those items? Or is it going to cost us double because we won't have people watching and we won't plan properly? So Tsarnaev is just an example, a bad example of how poorly we execute certain things in this country. So I think I've said enough on this. This is a very frustrating episode in our lives, and we have to pay better attention to what's going on. And we, the people, don't. And we remain divided. So I leave you with that this morning. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.